What is up, nerds? Today we are talking about The Last of Us new HBO show, the video game adaptation that seems to be infecting the world. We were late for the first episode of the season, so we're actually going to be doing a twofer here. So we'll be talking about episode 1 and then episode 2. And today it's just going to be me and my guest producer Terry. Everybody, how you doing, Terry?
What's up, Nine? Just dabbing out, just Black Boy Joy tonight, nothing but.
Black Boy Joy, that's what it's all about. Yeah, man. And you know, I had high hopes for the show, and I gotta say that it's been living up to its potential. How do you feel about it so far?
My only hopes for this show was that I do like Pedro Pascal. I liked him in Game of Thrones. I like him in Mandalorian. I liked him when he was the best part of Boba Fett, which kind of disappointed me. I was like, man, how did you get update in your own show like that? But I was just rooting for him. And of course, let me get her name right.
Are you talking about Ellie?
Ellie, yeah, Bella Ramsey.
Bella Ramsey.
I mean, we got to first see her in Game of Thrones. Also,
yeah, and
as
she
little
also
Lady
killed
Mormont.
that.
She what a fucking scene stealer she
Lyanna
was.
Mormont.
She did it. She did the thing.
And
now
what's up? What's up, Film Age Studio?
What up, dude?
Thanks for joining us. Everyone leave your comments about how you feel about this show. And I just want to give a little bit of a disclaimer because I have not played the video games. I have heard details here and there. It looks fantastic. I want to get a PlayStation 5 so I can play it in its, whole glory or whatever. And Terry, you have a pretty limited basis with the video games as well, right?
Basically, after this last episode is about as far as I got in the game.
Okay, and do you think that it's kind of like stayed true with like how far you've had
so far to
the
me?
Game? Yeah, it's been pretty accurate with your
discrepancy I've seen. Is there's two things that I've noticed that happen. Is one is the time, because they made it to be this year, where the initial incident happened in 2013, and then it's 20 years after that, which makes it in like 2033. But here they made it to where it's 2003, and then it happens where he's
right. So it's this year, yeah.
So that's one of the things I saw. Another thing that happened is like I didn't understand why Joel didn't die like 20 times, and then the dude controlling him was like, "I should get my money back for this hard ass fucking game." That's what happened to me.
You're like, fuck this game. I'm not playing it anymore. I'm done.
I know I got very frustrated at the game, and I just stopped.
Okay. So yeah, so we'll be tackling The Last of Us not as video game nerds, but just nerds, right? So this isn't for the hardcore people.
You don't fucking know.
If you are a hardcore gamer and want to drop in and give your opinion on the show, please do that. But this isn't for the fans of The Last of Us game. It's for the rest of us. This is the Rest of Us podcast. Let's just call it the Rest of Us podcast. The Rest of Us. But yeah, like I said, the casting for this definitely had my hopes up because Pedro Pascal, he honestly can't get away from that type of role, right? Like you mentioned,
am I too old to get adopted and raised by Pedro Pascal? He has a thing for fucking orphans. Like that's like his thing now, right?
Yeah, I mean he kills it.
Guardian.
Oh no, yeah, it always slips my mind that he was over in Game of Thrones too. So we got both Game of Thrones alumni in the house tonight. But then the Mandalorian, just like this, just dad. Just space dad doing the same thing he's doing in this show, but in space in Star Wars, which is fantastic in The Mandalorian. Bella Ramsey, again, fantastic as Lyanna Mormont, and I gotta say I've been really liking her as Ellie. Again, not very familiar with the character on the game, but she just has like a certain type of um I don't know, she kind of like gets the nihilistic, angsty teenage vibe
But
just right.
still, she still acts like a teenager, but a teenager that was raised in the apocalypse. And it's just like, yeah, this is exactly how a teenager raised in the apocalypse would act.
Yeah, and she has some pretty funny moments. So it just kind of made me like, yeah, I'm on her side. I'm on her side. Let's see what Filmmates has to say. The first episode, I wasn't too impressed. It felt like it was going through an identity crisis, but this episode killed the Walking Dead vibes. Okay, so yeah, I think there is like a bit of that Walking Dead fatigue that could have hindered this show, but I feel like it immediately separated its tone and what it's trying to do with the characters right away.
And just the monsters themselves, when we finally got to them in episode 2, it did a good job of like showing the
Yeah,
monsters. And like really in the first episode, like we don't really everybody's afraid of something we can't see because it's the spores and stuff affecting everybody. We
exactly,
don't really get
exactly.
too many monsters until later when people are attacking, but it's everyone's freaking out over we don't know yet.
Hmm. And then I like how they opened it up with this scene here where let's see here, this scene. Can't play the clips or else, this is going to go down right away.
Oh,
But
yeah,
this
and
scene
I was
right
not
here.
feeling Homeboy at first while he was, like, not denying it because he was denying everything about with, like, plagues and viruses, and I was like, "Man, you're stupid. Don't you know what's going on right now? We have
Right.
coronavirus."
And it's a flashback to 1968. So he's just like, you know what? We're definitely going to have plagues. But the worst thing ever is if a fungus decides to or evolves to be able to control the human mind, then we're done. We're completely done. And I thought it was funny because I heard that they actually added this scene in after when the pandemic was going on, where like they kind of like wrote that scene in and was just wanted to capitalize on it, which a
I
lot of
feel that.
shows
I feel
I
like
heard
they're
were
definitely
like
doing that.
taking those type of like correlations out of their show on purpose because they don't want anybody to be like associating their show with the pandemic. But this one like just leaned in it. They're like, yeah, let's just put this right at the top of it.
It was almost like if you think this pandemic's bad and you see how people are acting, wait until we have something that we definitely can't have a cure for. And I was like, man, this
Exactly.
speech kind of sent shivers through my spine. You're looking at everybody else in the audience too, and they're all
Hmm.
like you would think people would be laughing and be like, this dude's full of shit, but he's listing real things like what are they called? Mitocordyceps?
The cordyceps, yeah, the cordyceps
That's a
fungus.
real fungus, and yeah,
It's a
it
real
really
fungus.
does invade ants like that and take over their bodies. And I
Yeah,
always was wondered myself, what stops them from jumping over to humans? What's keeping them from evolving? And he said,
exactly.
because we're internally too hot for them. And
Right.
then he's like, but what if something's going on
And
that's
that
making
seems like a very
something
like
rise? And I was
plausible.
like,
Yeah, that
global
seems
warming,
very
climate
plausible.
change.
So it's
And I
like
was like, oh
taking both of the
shit.
crises of our day. We got the pandemic, we got the panini, and then we got the global warming to all warm it all up. So, ooh, yeah, that was pretty scary. That's a
I
pretty
was like,
scary
damn. I
revelation.
was like, evolution can't happen that fast, right? Like, we're
Right.
talking like it's got to take another at least a couple thousands of years
Mm.
for them to get their bodies
You
just
may notice that
warm,
we're
right?
also not biologists.
Yeah.
We have. I'm not an epidemiologist, but
If
yeah, that shit
anybody can answer and
scarred
put
me.
away our fears that it'll take a long time for this fungus to
Right?
evolve
Could
to
someone
withstand human bodies, please let us
please
know.
put me at yeah, ease my mind just a little bit here. Um, now,
So we get to see it.
in
We get to. I mean, man, that it was a good setup. That was like the part because my favorite thing about zombie things is how does it happen? What's going on? Where did it come from? Give me the science. I don't know why I'm a nerd like that, and I like to know how it happened. Give me the good backstory or some kind of teaser. And this
exactly.
was.
Now I kind of lean more into the camp where, less is more. So I did it. I was like, okay, I don't need to know exactly what's going on.
Right. I want to
Give
just
me
do a
hints,
taste. Let
but
my
they've
mind kind of wander.
executed that like these info dumps very well, very well. And we'll talk about like the
Well, yeah,
next
we can
info
get back
dump
to that on the
to
next info dump for the next episode because then
episode
we
right
get
at the
even a little bit
beginning
more
too.
of it.
But from there we go to Joel's regular life, post pre-pandemic, and he's
First
got
daughter.
this, yeah, his daughter, and she's played by not gonna play this clip. Uh, he's got this family. It's his birthday of all days, so
I,
happy birthday to
I
him.
like how they chose an actress to, color match him and his tone.
Right, and who is it? That's
Because in the game, Joel is very white looking, and
right,
his daughter is super white. So they
and
color matched to Pedro. Good job.
yeah, they found a yeah. What if it was just like a lily white
Just a white
girl that's
blonde
just
girl.
like
Thank
just
God.
white blonde girl that's
Because
his daughter.
they used to do that
Just-
shit. They used to do that all the fucking time.
Okay, so yeah, his daughter played by Nico Parker. Let's see what else she's been in. Because they also did a very good job of introducing her as like kind of the surrogate for like what Ellie would become, or I guess Ellie would be the surrogate for his actual daughter. They just did a really good job of actually making her someone that you would like. She
And
doesn't
in
just
such
seem
a
like kind
quick
of like a
time.
MacGuffin.
Like they
A
literally
what?
had like what 40 minutes for you to actually like this character, think she's sweet. You had like this
Yeah.
actress had to be like, I have to be such a lovable person in such a
Hmm.
short amount of time. So the tragedy of my death, so you can
Really,
really understand what this man is feeling.
exactly.
Because just like, oh, they just say, oh, his daughter died, then
Hmm.
okay, whatever. But you gotta like put him through.
And
You got to
then
see why he went through the paces, and
and
that all fell on her shoulders to be like, oh, I got to really sell this fucking character so the audience can believe how he feels when I die.
exactly. And like just her own little like plot or adventure line, right? Like you see her stealing the watch and stealing some money, and I'm like, ooh,
Ooh,
this kid is
ooh,
bad. She about to like
yeah, she's
buy
skipping
some
school. Yeah, she skipped
weed.
school and shit too,
Right.
all just to go to a jewelry store.
Just to go to a jewelry store. And I love this little part right here where it's the neighbors eating biscuits, and
Mm.
then the dude just kind of like stuffs the biscuits in her mouth. Like, hey, dad, you like biscuits, don't you? And he's just like stuffing it in that like catatonic lady's mouth. And we do get that like a little bit of paid off because what she turns into like the first infected person that we see.
Now, here's something that someone else put and kind of connected it together about how everything was spreading, and it had to
Hmm.
deal with also in episode 2 because we learned about it started in the flour factory.
Hmm.
But in episode 1, what do we see? They forgot the cake, no flour. When
Oh,
you see
okay.
them eating them biscuits, stuffing them in their mouths, flour. She makes
Oh,
those cookies. Elle was about to eat one, and then she was like, "They're raisin." And even when she said raisin, I was
oh,
like, "Ugh, bitch, why? No, I don't want them cookies.
I
She didn't
didn't
eat them
even
cookies
put that
either."
together. So they were
So all
making
all the
okay.
flour was so basically what we could maybe assume is that it all came from that flour in that Jakarta factory. Because remember, we even heard it on the radio what they were listening to. Because she was like, "Where the hell?" They're like, "Where the hell is Jakarta?" And they're like, "It's the capital." She was like, "It's the capital of Indonesia."
Yeah. Yeah,
We
she's
heard,
like,
and
I
so we're
never
like,
heard of
"Oh
that
shit!"
country,
Only
and
thing
she's like,
going
it's
down in
not a
Jakarta.
country.
We get to the next episode, we know that it started in the flour factory. Go back to the first one, we see who everybody who eats flour and who doesn't eat the flour
Uh-huh.
and who gets infected.
I like this little phrase that her mom or the neighbors says to
3
her.
nails on
The
one rosy.
3 nails
I'm
plus
a
1
Catholic, and
cross
I've never heard
equals
that
4
one.
given.
And I was like, well, that's kind of weird.
Me neither. I was
You
like,
know, I
oh,
was like,
that is
yeah,
the
that's right. They put
sappiest,
3 there.
most
One,
Catholic thing
2,
I've
and
ever
then
heard.
2. They put one
Yeah.
nail both through both his feet. Yeah. See, talking about
3
racist.
nails
Fuck all that. And look, there
plus
she
a
goes. She's eating more of
T-post.
that fucking flour.
And she's like, okay, that is a chocolate chip. Um, and then after that, we see that, this lady is being very weird.
And she's eating
She's
the
starting to
marshmallows
actually
out of them.
moving.
If you think about it,
Mm-hmm.
see what I thought was happening was that the window was open
Uh-huh.
and the spores were kind of like just floating into her face.
Okay.
And I was just like, well, I guess she's just lucky that she wasn't near it. But now with the flower theory, I'm like, oh yeah, she was
Okay.
just ready to fucking go, just chucked up on flour back there, huh?
So it was just ingested by. Okay, so that's interesting. Is that how it spreads though? I'm kind of a little bit lost of like how then it initially spread. Is it just literally just the flour and then you have to be bitten
No, I'm
then?
thinking that the spores, because you get infected by the spores, but the spores got all in the flour somehow, and everything that's
Okay.
been baked with the flour,
Then
anything you
transfers.
ingest
Okay.
is giving you the spores, and then of course you can pass off the infection by biting people that way too.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the
Um
clickers can like shoot spores out of their face and shit.
and so you know they have this little birthday get together for Joel after
And they
he's
got
working
the cake,
late, and
thankfully.
then his brother Tommy is in jail because he saw like some dude freaking out on a waitress,
He saw one of the
and
infected
he
fight.
probably saw one of the infected, got arrested for defending, and then had to get Joel out of there. So now we have Nico Parker, or what's her name in the thing?
Is it an L? Am I making that up?
It's not Ellie. That's
Yeah, it's Ellie or L-E-L-L-E.
oh
No,
wait. So
wait,
his
that's another girl. God damn.
that's a Sarah. Yeah, that's his
Sarah, that's
daughter
the
Sarah.
first daughter.
So so she wakes up all alone, and everything has now like obviously turned to shit because dude,
Alarms going
there's
off.
the alarms going
Shit.
off. We got the
Dog
announcer saying
barking.
like you gotta stay inside. The dog comes to the house.
Yeah, the neighbor's dog comes over to the house and she's like, what the fuck is this dog doing over there? And she tries to bring it back. And this is kind of where I did not like her character too much.
Okay.
Like you see that dog is scared fucking shitless.
Yeah.
That should be a sign that you shouldn't go in that
Yeah.
house either. Like I wouldn't have went in there. I'd be like, oh, you fucking scared.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go back inside and lock my door and wait till daddy gets home.
Now, this is what got me pretty excited though. This little part right here.
Yeah, she's just going to town.
With a like I really thought this was like pretty gruesome because you could see like the little tendrils and little fibers just sticking out of her mouth and just like it's like all throughout the body. Like
Yeah,
it's not even just
and
like
it's
a
like
person.
injecting him with more of that shit.
And I thought that was really cool because like as Film Age said, like that Walking Dead vibe.
Yeah,
How do
it's not
you
I'm eating you because they're not really
Mhm.
they're not trying to eat people.
Right. It may be a violent process, but they're just trying to spread. Yeah. And I thought that was pretty interesting because, they're not like inherently evil. It's not like an inherently evil thing. It's just a fungus trying to spread throughout the world. It's just trying to live. And, maybe, maybe we just let the fungus live, right? It's just trying to live.
We had our time. We did
We had our
all
time.
right, but we need to let the fungus take over.
And when she's finally rescued, I love how this granny just hightails it to her.
Bro, Granny was on straight demon time right
Yeah,
there. Like we see
right.
her earlier, she's catatonic, and this one she's running like she's Jackie Joyner Kersey. Just Ari Richardson's about to go get a nigga right there.
Just man, Joe runs up, and then what did he do? What did he say?
Get in the truck right now. Does she get in the truck? No. Get in the
No,
truck. Get in the
she's
damn
watching.
truck.
She's watching. But bam,
Bam. You're like, okay, she's down, right?
she's down. Like this lady is in a wheelchair. How's she gonna? And then something his brother says right here. His brother be, yeah.
What
What
are
are we doing, Joe? What are we doing,
like,
Joe? Like,
yeah,
am I
I
about
mean,
to
that
put
is
this lady down, or like, how are we handling this
how are we gonna do
situation?
this?
Because
That
like
is the
that's
big
literally like
question.
what I would be saying to myself too. Like,
Here we
I'd be
go.
like, oh shit, I don't know. I don't know
Shoot
if I
it.
should kill the neighbors. Like, yeah. But he just takes a wrench and just fucked her up. I was like, oh, okay. And that's when it actually clicks for his daughters, like, oh, this is for real, for real. Like, we are not playing any games. And they get into the car, and again, just like just great visuals. I
And have you
loved how
you've never played the have you never seen the intro to the game? This is like such a good adaptation, and but if they didn't do it right, you'd be real pissed. But it was kind of
Okay.
like this whole first part of the game is everything that
It it
happens pretty
it
much.
looks like a video game. Like it kind of looks like you're in like that first person type view,
Yeah, and that's
or like
how it
in the
was.
view of Sarah, just like watching the world just turn to shit around her. I really thought this was cool. And this is like so this is all in the game.
Oh, in the game, him driving through, like you first see that it's in Austin because you see that green street sign that's like Austin that way and the other city that way. And like, oh shit, they're in Texas.
Dude, this was
Like,
awesome.
yeah, it's
This was really scary. And
all
then like
game
just
stuff.
seeing like a lot of these people just like yeah, we just see like a lot of people just hightailing it. There's a lot of extras in that street. It just looks very high budget.
Oh man, and I know who did the extras casting too, and I got that email for it, but I'm living in Denver now because I saw it and I was like, damn it, I want to go. I want to go be in The Last of Us and be an extra.
Yeah. I feel like how would you play it then? How would you play it as an extra in this? Just be running through the streets, or would you try to kind of like be
running
really
and like
extra with it? Like, would you
because they're gonna tell you like
be?
what you should be looking at and what you're running away from. So you just imagine it and then you just run where they tell you to run. And if they say look back, then look back, or like look to your left and run, and then run like someone's chasing you.
But
and then you probably do that like 20 to 30 times. Like, I want to know how many like times they had to fucking do that shit. That's the real exhausting part.
I'm just kind of like impressed by all of the people that are involved. Like, it just feels like it's really going on. And then we get this plane crash, which is
I
just
wanted
like
to see how they did that.
Crazy.
That had to be like the crazier part because they're trying to tell them, imagine a plane's crashing.
Yeah. And then
I really wanted to be the guy like, you're the dude, all right? When you go like 10 steps, fall down to the ground.
Right.
So like all these extras had to be like kind of coached to do what they're supposed
to very choreographed. And I wonder if they just like, I mean, shout out to the person that crashed the plane into that street, RIP to them, But what do you think it is? Just kind of like a big ass light that they flash in the street? Because it like all of that like light and ocular inclusion is like really feels right, it kind of blends into the atmosphere very correctly. It doesn't feel like it's a big CGI mess.
I think that might be CGI afterwards.
Really? You think like the street environment is CGI'd? Or do you think they
The lighting effects after done towards it. It's probably
yeah,
like just a dark street that had just like some heavy lights on it.
right. I did notice that there was like a little bit of a video game moment here where it's like the two characters or like they get separated by this obstacle. And I was just like, you could,
Just go around it.
yeah,
Just
you
go
could,
around.
it
It
looks
looks
like
like
you
you
could
can
go
easily
around that.
go around it,
It
but
looks like
they
you could
don't.
just, they're like, oh, I'll just meet you on the other side of the
Go to the
river.
right
I'm
somewhere,
like,
man. It looks
yeah,
like
it's
there's
just like,
lots of
just
space.
go a little bit or just over, you know? But,
Also, I definitely would have like reached into the cop car and tried to drag the dead police officer out just to get his gun and shit.
you don't need that. Um, and from here, yeah, so, Sarah Kim, she's kind of like out of the picture at this point because what are you gonna do?
Yeah,
You got like
people. And you're being
enraged zombies. That's the thing that like brings us to another level because The Walking Dead, of course, can like have these, just shambling the walkers. They're just walking at you, and they've always seemed like a very possible threat to like take down by myself. Like I could handle like 10 walkers by myself, but one of these guys, just one of them coming at me, running at me full strength? I don't know. I really don't know.
Right, and he's not really just trying to bite you. Like this dude is gonna be throwing punches and shit at you.
Yeah,
Like,
he's raging
he
at
is
you.
trying to fight you, and then kind of like bite you at the same time too.
And he's jumping and
He's
leaping over
fresh, you
shit.
know. His
Yeah,
body is
he's a fresh
really
one.
fresh.
Yeah, like he's not an old lady. He's not an old lady. Like I don't think I could pull off that type of jump. Just me, just being spry. Because this motherfucker actually like this motherfucker takes like a complete dive.
Right? Can we talk
Shout out
about
to
like
the
how the
stuntman.
actors that they got for this are like really good? Like this episode, and then when we finally get to the clickers in episode 2, these guys are really good body
They're
wise
really
actors, you know. They got the movements down. Like from what I play in the game, I was like, yeah, that's how the motherfuckers be acting.
Let's see here. But yeah, we get a pretty heart-wrenching scene because the military finally shows up, and then you're supposed to I know what it's like though. Like I know what it is. I've seen enough of these movies where like, nah, you really can't trust that military motherfucker with the gun
No,
because
man, not at
he
all.
ain't really gonna be doing thing. Like he's probably just sitting there to do the mop up, the cleanup work, and
Right, and it's like, man, like I like how you can't hear the mysterious voice that this dude's talking to. Like, all you hear is you just hear him. Hey, I got 2 civilians out here. Over. Repeat
It's like,
that.
yes, sir. Yeah, I'm gonna
And
keep it playing with
you
you. I'm
understand?
sorry.
And like you can just imagine how this guy's like, I need to eliminate those targets. Do you hear me? Eliminate them. Do it now. And he's like,
and his voice kind of like gets a little bit more dour when he on that final. Yes,
right,
sir.
and it's just
Yeah,
like,
I
yeah,
got you,
like,
sir. I got you, Sarge.
you definitely told me these people need to die right now.
Yeah. And he's like, well, we're not sick. It's like, yeah, everyone's sick at this point.
See?
But at this point, he's already shot him up. Like he already ran through Sarah. And we get this crazy scene of of him just trying to revive her. And Tommy's like, nah, bro,
Yeah,
like
bro.
she gone. She been gone right there. And that's pretty heart wrenching. Again, very good like turnaround for like
So what time is this
making
time
us.
frame? Like 30 minutes?
Yeah, so they got 30 minutes.
Had less than 30 minutes for us to like actually feel sorry for her, to make us have that connection, to understand what Pedro's going through of losing this child. So kudos to her.
Yeah, very, very good. Only one episode, but she rocked it. Half an episode.
Half an episode.
Half an episode. Now I don't want to spend too much time going over because we do the big time jump
20 years.
I want to get 20 years. So now it's 2023. I do want to reference that they've did a great job of just making him look like actually 20 years older, just gruffled and miserable.
Because we know his age. He's 30. He was 36, so now he's
Mm-hmm.
56.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
And
yeah,
he's
he
like,
kind of looks like a gruffled 50-year-old man.
mm-hmm. Yeah, a little bit more, a little bit stronger than probably most 56-year-olds, but whatever. Work construction all his life. It's what it does to you, I guess. um, but throughout this, we're kind of just being introduced to like kind of this new world order. I thought it was kind of surprising that he made it from Texas to Boston.
Boston, yeah, right. He did some fucking traveling in those. Well, it's been 20 years, but still.
Phil May saying he didn't look 36.
Well, he's 40, he's 47 in real life.
Yeah, so wait, how old did he look, film age? I think, I don't know. Anyway, but I don't know how we would have made it to Boston or if that's just like a regular thing. But there's these factions, the Federales or something.
Fedra.
The Feds.
That's
Fedra.
like who the U.S. government became eventually.
And they have like a complete control over like these bigger cities.
What are they called? QZs, quarantine zones?
The QZs, the quarantine zones. And it's pretty rough. It's definitely authoritarian. And everyone, no one can leave without being permitted to. No one can enter without permission, or public hangings, which is pretty fucking crazy. But I kind of believe that like the world would go back to,
and we get like a glimpse of how serious they are about their societies. We first we see this, just this little girl wandering out like in the QZ by herself. She makes it into the zone, and they're taking care of her. They let her go through, and then you see the dude with a little device that's like doop doop.
Yeah.
And then that one lady, she's so nice and sweet to her, and she makes eye contact with the guy doing the test, and you just see her demeanor just completely, just like the joy of finding a new person just completely went out of her face at that point.
Right.
And then mysteriously, the little girl gets a shot, and she's like, this will make you feel better. And she's just and you're just I was like, oh, that they just killed this child. They injected her with something that's going to kill her. Lying through her teeth.
We're going to get you some new clothes. You're going to be playing with your favorite toys and having your favorite food.
I was like, y'all hardly have any fucking
food. We got ice cream cake. And I was like, oh, lady, straight to the fire, actually.
Yeah, and then the next thing we get is them what we see what they're doing. They have to burn all these bodies, and I'm waiting for it. I'm just waiting. I'm like, when we gonna see the child body? We gonna see this little girl got burnt up, huh? And the one lady, she's trying to do the thing, and she's like, I just can't. And I was like, what? And then we see our Joel, and we see the little girl's shoes that we used to identify her. It was her shoes. They were like, oh shit, there she is.
Yeah, very good. Because after the time jump, we just cut to those shoes walking, and then that's also what Tess and Joel see when they realize it's a kid.
They see those shoes, they were like, yep, they straight up killed her. She was infected, huh?
And I was actually very happy that I was seeing Anna Torv in this. She's been in a lot of my favorite shows since back in the day. She was in Fringe, which was like a really cool like sci-fi investigative show in the style of the X-Files. But then she's also in Mindhunter, which is one of my favorite like little dramas by David Fincher on Netflix. And
I didn't watch that one.
No, it's a fantastic one, and where they just kind of like go over. They find serial killers and they interview them, and it's all dramatized. Only 2 seasons.
Okay, yeah, I think I did watch the first season then.
Yeah, it's really well directed and everything. But yeah, Anna Torv, and she plays a character, Tess, that is Joel's love interest, or what can I say? I can't even say it's like really a love interest, as it is just like a partnership. They're just both like gristled humans that
I
are
want to
willing to do
say
some crazy shit to survive.
not love interest because of what she says at the end of episode 2 to him. Because she says something along the lines of,
Oh yeah.
not having the same feelings as me, and I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I think she had feelings for him, but he didn't,
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to be with nobody.
Yeah, and he lost his daughter. He probably did have like a wife before that he lost. I'm not really sure. Hopefully we find that out. But then we're also then introduced to Ellie for the first time, Bella Ramsey. She's been in a
Like
whole lockup uh,
for a couple days.
for a couple days at least, or maybe even a week, 2 weeks, where when you're lost in the darkness. So yeah, that's the other faction that's kind of like going against the Fedras, the Fireflies. So when you look in the darkness, try to find a light or search for the light. But yeah, she immediately comes off as like very almost just like a very
angsty, in your face. I'm a teenager. I'm rebelling.
Yeah.
There's an
Yeah.
apocalypse outside
There it is.
still, but
Right.
fuck it, I'm a teenager and I know
Yeah.
everything.
And I know more than you, and I'm smarter than I think I am, and fuck you. But yeah, she has been bitten. Everyone kind of turns at the most that you have is like 24, 48 hours.
Yeah.
And then
Oh,
everyone
yeah.
turns, but it's been like 2 weeks and she has not turned. So that's already just an awesome, plot device. This can go so many different ways from there. Let's see here.
And we know, I mean, to like make these characters, we have them that Joel, his brother, the only person that he has now, because we know he doesn't have the wife. We don't know what happened to her. Ellie's gone, but his brother has been with him this whole time for 20 years. Him and his brother have been surviving, and now his brother has been missing.
Yeah,
so they need to get the battery for the truck, and that's what we
go out and find.
Because because the dude they got the battery for double crossed them and was selling the battery to the Fireflies.
Yeah, and it was a dead battery in the first place. Like,
and
it was never going to work.
Them, and that's when all of our paths finally meets. And
so
now, if they deliver the girl, they'll get the battery. And he's just like,
right.
And at this point, they don't even like.
She's
I guess they didn't have
described as the Che Guevara of Boston. I was like, hell yeah. That's what's up.
Do you think that she should have told him? Marlene should have been like, "Oh, by the way, we've been keeping her in here because she was
last hope of humanity. We don't know why. We need to get her
right. Yeah, I was like, why didn't they explain? Like, hey, by the way, the reason why we think she's the last hope of humanity, she's been bitten, and it was well over a week ago, and she hasn't turned yet.
And this has to be maybe my favorite part right here of like Ellie's character, or maybe there's a couple of moments here. Because let me see if I can get away with playing this. Because what does she do? She just like jumps out with a knife. With a knife. Let's see if we can. So hard to find. Right here. Right here. Yeah. And Joel just chucks her.
Yeah, wrecked.
I love that. Just wrecked. And I was just like, oh my god, this guy is probably not afraid to shoot a kid either. Like, we just saw him burn a kid, like just no expression on his face, just like into the fire. Was probably going to end her right there too. But yeah, we have our quest, and they go out.
because now they have to meet up with a team just outside of Boston. Simple handoff, and they're supposed to get a truck, battery, and all their goods, and they're out.
Exactly. And one thing about this scene, because one of Joel's old cop buddies, he's working for both sides. Yeah, and maybe just tell him where exactly to go. I think they did maybe establish where the QZ or where the other
they
zone
only
was.
told them where they needed to meet the drop team, not where the drop team was going after that. So,
right,
that does become a problem in the second episode.
But this is one of my also a different like correlation that I have with with Ellie's character, because the way that she was like very fascinated and kind of like lurking over. Look how creepy she is. She's just a fucking
like,
weirdo.
Yeah,
and she's just like, yeah,
fuck
like
you.
Whereas his
daughter,
Sarah was just started like crying and was like,
terrified.
right, but she's like leaning into it and like lurking. Look at that posture.
Yeah, right. I wanted to bring that. That's why when we get to the ending of them, they almost get to the QZ, but then they get caught by the crooked cop that they knew.
Exactly.
And this is the point where they finally discover that, of course, she's infected because it goes green, and then red on her. And just that the stark difference of this being a better fit daughter for him than his original daughter. Because that old lady had just chased her. You saw her eating someone, and it just chased you, and it's about to kill you and your dad defended himself. He didn't mean it. He just smacked her, right?
Right.
And she's all like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you killed her." She's like,
it's like, oh, you can't believe
her in his life. While when we get to L, we're not sure if that dude was going to do anything or shoot them or anything, but he didn't take any chance to beat that man bloody to death.
Right.
His bare hands beat that man to death. And as you see, she is just like, yeah, that's what's up. That's what happens when you fuck with me.
Yeah.
Get him.
She's like very entranced by the violence, and that's
she's like, teach me how to do that.
Oh yeah, that rain lighting, yeah, that was just very, and it's like
just that fucking face
she's like very entranced by it. It worries me quite a bit.
I make when people bring out like sizzling fajitas at like and you're like, damn.
She's like, oh yeah, damn. I don't know, man. I'm gonna watch my back around her because fuck that.
So it's like,
way too into
this girl might got some mental problems and is a bit unstable. But
a bit.
That's the type of person you need to be in this world.
A bit, yeah. A
bit fascinating. Should I kill him or should I not kill him? You might be dead by the time you think about that.
Now, okay, so yeah, phenomenal first episode. Let's quickly just move on to episode 2, which you guys may be here for, since it just came out yesterday. Again, it's on HBO. We're reviewing
spoilers now.
Last of Us.
If you haven't, go watch episode 2 already.
And again, we have not played the video games. I mean, I have not played the video games. Terry is very.
This is where my video game
frustration
ends, and right here. And too, I was like, all right, well, this is where I ended playing the game. I don't know what happens next.
And I love the info dump, because then we get to see the Jakarta.
I hope they kind of do something like this every episode. Just give
just a little bit of more substance, and because that it is a very fascinating part of all of the doomsday type movies, just to see how exactly the world ended and like people's interpretations of it. Love it. I don't know why, but I just love it.
So man, just the start, it kind of like just you don't know what's kind of really happening. We're in Jakarta. These military, we cut to a bunch of diners just chilling out, and military police officers bust in, and everybody's looking with that, oh shit, I hope they're not here for me. And you're like, that's some ruthless shit going down. The government will come and get you, boy. And like, for whatever, you're gonna be in trouble for something. And and all of a sudden they just roll up on this sweet old looking lady and just be like,
very sweet lady. And
she of course asks the normal questions talking about, am I in trouble? And they're just like because they're so serious in the car with her too, and you're like, oh yeah, she in trouble. But they're serious because what they gotta tell her is serious.
Because she's a scientist and she's been studying fungus her whole life.
Right? They just confirm it's her.
Mm-hmm.
They're like,
and I mean, someone's got to do it, right? Someone's got to be able to.
They're just so quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, anytime anybody else come in for expertise, like, oh, we just need you to come in and identify something. Just hey, how you doing? They would straight up tell you, but they're just hush hush, serious. They set the tone. Like these guys set the tone with not talking and.
Exactly. And then cordyceps cannot survive in humans. And it's like, yeah, about that.
Right? And I like how the one lady was trying to talk, and that dude was like, no.
Like, no. Let's let her reach her own conclusions.
Look at it and tell us.
Yeah, just let us know.
Don't you like doing that when like you see something? I was like, bro, just look at this. Look at this right here, man. Just tell me I'm not crazy. It's that tell me I'm not crazy, right?
Yeah.
A little science telling you is like, hey, why is this on this type of slide? Isn't that for human tissue?
Right.
And, she's trying to put the pieces together. It's like, why am I looking at cordyceps?
And she's like kind of like laughing at them too. They're like, you fool, you idiot, you big old idiot. Cordyceps can't be in humans. You bullshitting. And then the way her tone shifts throughout the dialogue or like the short scenes, because we get her in this clean ass lab. I don't think I can show.
Dude,
I'm gonna pick this.
You feel sick? Get the fuck up out of there.
Because I don't want to. Because this lady kind of has her boobies out on this. Okay. On this slide. But yeah, she vacuum sealed up.
She's like, I can't believe I'm about to see this shit. What are they?
she vacuum sealed up, right? And man,
she's doing her little examination.
They
tell her, he's like, look underneath the left leg. Look underneath that leg. And she sees
she's like
strands popping out.
And it is gross too. Like, I don't know if I should show this. I could show the mouth.
And then when she goes, she looks and she's at and go to the mouth part. Is
the mouth part, so it's not no titty.
What we see back in the first episode at the with the old lady.
Oh gosh, I'm trying to find this. No titty is very, very hard. Okay, let's see here. And she's like disgusted by it too.
When that thing moves at her, she drops it. She looked like those haunted house videos where people get scared and they run away.
Yeah.
That's what she was doing. Oh yeah. Oh, little worms. Oh
yeah, it's a very skin crawling moment right here because, dude, like it's just.
I want to know, is that a prosthetic head or an actual extra with shit in her mouth just laying there perfectly? That's what I was like. Is that a prosthetic head they made? Or is that a person with just shit in their mouth and she's just really just.
Maybe it's a little bit of both. Yeah, I mean, it's just like a little bit of both prosthetic. But yeah, it's very nasty. And her solution is just like,
I like how she's like, I love the way she thinks too. You never like every time they like have someone talking who's a scientist or something, or even they're just like in denial of it for so long, or they're still trying to talk about it in theory of what's going on. And this lady is just asking all the right questions where I can't pick at her. She's like, okay, and this was the first person, right? And it was here's that clue right there. It's the flour and grain factory. If you didn't know this,
on the west side of the city.
Jakarta is like probably like the world. Is it the world's largest producer of flour?
Oh, really? Okay, so Jakarta is.
Let me go verify that.
production. Are you searching that up? Okay, let's see here.
Yeah, they have the world's largest mill.
Okay, so all right, so this makes sense for how quickly it would spread because what is the largest flour milling city in the world? In Jakarta, Indonesia. Wow. Okay.
So yeah,
that holds water. That really does hold water.
They're really trying to like make you think this could happen.
Yeah, which I love. Like these little info
I'm
dumps
loving
because
it. I'm loving every little tidbit.
I never usually like these types of info dumps. You know, just less is more in most of these shows, but in this case, they just pull it off so well. And yeah, again, her line of questioning is like, okay,
Where it
we
happened. How many people were there? What happened to those people?
Yeah.
Okay, but what happened
We
to
executed
the
them, and then
original person? And they're like,
and then right here,
and
it
then
is the point where she goes, oh yeah, like, oh, you know, it's the procedure for us to execute them. And the way she kind of just like sits back, like kind of relieved that she just heard that information. I was
yeah,
just like, okay,
she
yeah, she
knows, like,
hardcore.
she knows
She's
how
like,
fucking
okay,
serious this is.
good.
She didn't do that. Oh my
You
god, we could have
monsters.
studied them or done something. She
Right.
was like, yeah, that's about what she needed to do, brother. She's real.
But then when what and then she goes, are any other workers missing? All right. And with the realization that there are what 14 missing, this
Plus the
little moment
original.
too is also just like her little shake, her little spasm. She's like, oh fuck, we're done for 14. Because yeah, 14 people all kind of like
In
exponentially
Jakarta, in that tiny little area of just hyper density.
Yeah. That many people, like
Many.
14 people, that's enough. Like, we're fucked. She already knows. And her only solution is like, we need to just nuke this whole fucking place. Just destroy this whole place. Great. Great stuff there. And then we go back into the in our current timeline of 2023. We're back with Joel, Tess, and Ellie. They've been sitting up watching her all night because, of course, they just realized that she, you know,
red.
It's like, yeah, you're a menace. But Tess kind of like sees a bit of hope in her, and I love this lighting. For this whole situation. Let me see.
Right, there's like they're sitting in the darkness, and she is like in the.
She's literally like the light
in a garden, and like everything else is dead all around them. But if you like, she's perfectly placed in this beautiful kind of growing garden.
Yeah, right here, yeah. Like that. Yeah, that shot made me go, "Ooh, okay."
Like a whole
I like this
earth, and she's like in the middle of it, like shining.
I'm really liking this.
They did a good job on that.
But it's like, yes,
such a well executed show that we're now in this like second episode, still not letting us down. I'm
right
for the long haul.
Like, I don't think they are going to drop in like any type of production quality throughout the season. They didn't just go ham for the first episode. In this episode, we do get the reveal of like what people can turn into, and I was kind of blown away watching it.
All we've seen were this, because so far we've only seen immediate infected, got bitten, turned, or ate the spores, and then immediately turned. This is like 20 years now. We're gonna see like, yeah, there's still some immediate people, but really these are like the old ones. They've been there for a while.
Exactly. And it's really cool, like, because you know, Ellie has spent all of her life behind a wall or whatever.
Right.
And her realization that like, oh, it's, you know, finally being out, but realizing like how fucking crazy it is out there. It's pretty nice. She plays the part very well.
Right, just like
You
I said,
can't.
she really does play a teenager that was raised in the
Mhm.
doomsday apocalypse.
Exactly. And you can't like help to feel annoyed by her, but also like her. Like when there's a scene where they have to go through a hotel to get where they want to go, and she is
Starts
really
playing with
interested in
the
the
shit.
fact
She's
that
like,
like
ding, ding,
yeah,
ding,
it's like,
bang
oh
with the
my
bell,
god.
pretending she's the bear hop. And I just like her
Uh-huh.
response to Joel, "You're a weird kid." And she goes, "You're a weird kid."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, of course, like she just wants to like
Yeah, she's never
she
seen
starts
what a hotel was. She's seen like videos, I'm assuming, and TV
mhm.
shows about what happens in hotels and
Maybe not
stuff.
even, yeah, probably not even video unless it's on a fucking VHS or something. I don't know. Would they still have VHSs in their like little
I,
community school
I don't know. I think
place?
they might have DVD players and stuff.
Those DVD players and things. God, no internet.
I mean,
Like,
they're all watching shows from like 2003 and beyond.
right?
That too. So yeah, they're just like they had to grow up on like 90s TV shows and stuff.
Yeah. Still get SpongeBob. You can
They
still
still got
watch
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob. Uh, what other like what shit would kids like back in that time?
I mean, because we were kids at that time. Like, what do we watch? It was all Nickelodeon stuff
Mm-hmm.
and some Disney Channel. So I wonder if they have like if that's the type of media that they still will be playing for like
Right.
thing. Because I feel
Yeah.
like it'd be pretty easy to find. 'Cause, there's so many DVDs being printed. You'd find copies of DVDs and stuff.
Mm-hmm. I like this. They're just kind of waiting for Tess to, scout the area, find
And
a
and
different way.
this,
And she's just flipping a knife, and she's like, "What do you want me to do?" She's like, "The circus." Like, you sarcastic piece of shit.
but that conversation that they have kind of like goes
Mhm.
back to what we were talking about. How she is so more into killing.
Yeah,
Yeah, she
she's
starts
like,
asking them
cannot
like,
wait
how
to
do you
stab
feel
some
about
people.
how many people have you killed, infected have you killed? And she was just like, do you feel bad and think about like how they used to be human and stuff? And I was like, that's a good question, like to think about that.
Mhm.
And then she like brings up, what about that dude you killed last night?
Yeah.
How did you feel about that? And I was like, yeah, that thing's still fresh on her, huh?
Martin Univer. Huh? Filmage? Elaborate on that. Do you know what that means, Terry?
No, is that a person? Is he the
I'm not
lighting
sure.
guy?
Is that
Is
like
he the guy
is
that
that
did the
the
lighting?
I don't know. Um, but yeah, Tess is from Detroit, so stand up. Definitely knows how to handle her. Can't have shit in Detroit, man. For real. Uh, I really like this scene too because there's just like another. I do feel like it does a great way of like introducing us to the post-apocalyptic world through Ellie's expressions. Martin and the best in us.
I mean,
The
technically,
computer
as the
says it.
viewer, we're kind of
Oh,
like
okay.
her.
All right. So yeah, they would be watching some old SNL. Martin.
Yeah, I guess
Okay.
so.
And a nice foundation of pop culture. So yeah, they kind of, they got it. They got it.
But like, I
Uh,
like this scene here, just showing because like the walkers, they walk and they do their.
mhm,
But these things, they just lay around like fungus most of the time, huh?
until they're like alerted to being able to spread
Yeah,
it to
they're all
someone
just
else.
sitting there,
Really good stuff right
lying
there.
down like the fungus that they are, or becoming.
Um, let's see here. Don't want to get taken down. But yeah,
So at this point, they're trying to figure out, if you're taking the long way or the short way. And I guess the long way.
but but look at her face when she's looking at them though. Look at her face. Her
So
fucking weird fascination with all of this is just kind of disturbing to me. She's just like, oh, like, But I mean, yeah, if you
But I mean,
knew
at the same
you
time,
could
she's still a
get
kid, and
bitten,
that fascination is she doesn't
yeah,
understand how dangerous it is yet.
right. And she's like immortal. I mean, in her mind, she's like, "Oh, I'm fucking invincible. Like I got a superpower because they can bite me." But also, Tess has a reminder that no, they can still maul you to death and just like fuck you up. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, just because the bite won't turn you into one of them doesn't mean they ain't gonna like rip you apart trying to bite you.
Sauce. Look at this. Look at her. There's so many. Fucking weirdo. So yeah, they just need to find a good way to get to the Fireflies camp, and they realize that they have to go through a pretty crazy, scary area, and they can't talk because
They hear
a
because
little
what
bit
they
of
see,
some
yeah, what
shambling.
brings them away is that dead body,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, why would a regular, because she only knows about the regular infected that we just saw down on like all on the ground, and she's like, what would rip him up like that? And they're
Mm-hmm.
like, oh shit, there's only like
That blood was
one,
fresh too.
yeah,
I was
there's like
like, oh
only
man,
one
they
thing that
just
can
got
like
there.
really fuck you up, and
Yeah.
they're like, you need to be silent, not quiet.
And
Silent.
this is when we get introduced to the clickers.
The clicker.
The clicker.
And what
And
I know and remember from the
goddamn.
game is that they're really hard to kill. They take a lot of bullets. There's only like certain ways to actually kill them and put them down.
Yeah.
And one change I know that they did was, I think, like the clicker itself could summon the infected and bring down the horde and stuff on you. While in this, they changed it to where it's like a whole like system of things,
Ecosystem.
ecosystem.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting because like
It works. It works
in
more
real life, yeah,
so,
like in a forest or whatever, the actual like largest organisms in the world are these like big ass
mushroom.
networks of fungus
And it's just
growing
one
underground,
mushroom
and they actually do communicate with each other, like
all
you
across
know,
the world and stuff.
all across a big ass forest. They will be able to actually, um, use trees' root systems. It's weird. It's actually really kind of disgusting when you think about it, or just fascinating.
Scary if they evolve
Hmm.
and try and kill us.
If they evolve and try to kill us, which I mean, we basically have it coming. Let's see here. Yeah, but these clickers are just the introduction to them was just very good.
Just it's blind. It can't see you, but it can
Mm-hmm.
hear you.
It
It's
can click
better
at you.
than a bat, apparently.
Yeah. And you're not going to be able to just like hold. I just love this right here. Good shots. Good shots. I don't want to. Maybe if I can play just a little bit of the sound effect.
There it is.
Yes. It is. That's some good stuff right there. That's some good stuff. I was watching it and I was like, okay.
Ugh.
Okay. They kind of
Yeah,
got me
that's like
going
the
right
game.
now.
That's like and like
It-
yeah, that just just paralyzed you when you heard that in the game. Just you would hear it.
yeah.
You're like, oh shit, not this fucker again.
Right.
And see, and this is the part of the show where I just did not believe it no more because he was able to kill him, and somehow he didn't die 20 times like I did in the fucking game and ran out of shivs and shit to like kill that fucker with. So
This
very
reveal,
unbelievable at this part for me as
right?
a game player.
Well, so hold on. What did you play it on though? You play it on hard mode? You play it on hard?
I think so. What? How else you gonna play it?
I don't know.
I
I'll
guess
probably
I
like,
probably should have put it on easy and just enjoyed
the story mode. Exactly. The raptor scene in Jurassic Park. For sure. For sure.
But also shout out to these actors again, just playing the clicker. I remember on the end of the episode they said they got people who specifically liked enjoying the game and played the game more than us to actually do this role. So I was like, well, if you play the game, then you know exactly how the thing's supposed to move. So
Right.
we like it. Or I thought was really funny was and I was just like, why would you even try to do something different? Is that they wanted to do something a little design-wise different with the clicker, and they made up all their other designs, and then they just ended up going back with the game design itself. And I'm like, I'm glad you fuckers realized your mistake, because a lot of people do that when it comes to
If we look
design.
at like Halo or whatever, well, I mean, they say
Or
true to
Resident
design, but they
Evil,
wanted to like, you know, they for some reason when it comes to like a lot of adaptations, they just want to be like, no, let's just not use a lot of the video game and just kind of just go do our own thing. I'm like, why do you do that? Why does anybody ever do that? Why don't you
why?
just?
And it's
You already
funny to
have the
hear
thing.
that they tried. They were thinking about it. They almost did it,
It's
but
like, no,
somehow got talked into their senses.
you already
not do it, and we're back with the game design, and it looks good. Yep.
This reveal right here, so crazy.
Yeah, so
crazy, my guy.
So good. I love I love the crackhead shiver shakes that it does.
Yeah. The little Tyrone Biggums.
Yeah.
Like,
So
shout out to that guy. You're not that tough, are ya? You're not that tough, huh?
Did he take?
Because then she's just like grossed out by that. Yeah, it's like, yeah, I'm not going to be able to like keep my cool either. I would be like, ooh. Seeing one of those for the first time in your life, you'll be like, ooh.
And it's like, how old is that? How long has that person been infected to become the clicker? I kind of forgot that part.
Oh yeah, they just kind of like some of them are able to mutate.
And yeah, because a lot of them just kind of just turn into
die or like
mushroom dust eventually.
Yeah, just part of the whole thing. But yeah, there's actually two of them.
Two of them, yeah, not just one.
There's actually two of them, and
two clickers.
Tess takes one out, then takes another, and Ellie is actually bit
again.
Again, and she's like, you know, if anyone's gonna be bit, it might as well be me. Not knowing that, you know, Tess has also been bit too, taking out the other clicker. They make it out. They have to just take this little scenic route. And I actually do remember this screenshot from like a lot of like video game reviews and whatever. And I was like, yeah, looks good. Boston all fucked up.
Just, I mean, it's finally someone was just like, okay, this is in the game. Let's do it exactly. Let's not add our own little thing to it. Let's not change this little thing around.
Yeah.
Like they are only really changing things around because, you know, one's a video game and this is a damn TV show. You can't do the same things, but very little has been changed except for real practical things that
and that's really great because a lot of the justifications I've heard for doing that or like kind of like disregarding the other stories has always been like, oh, you know, we want it to appeal to more people outside the video game. Like, yeah, but then you're going to be isolating the people that have already played the video game, and then you're implying that people that haven't played the video game wouldn't be interested in the story. It just really never made sense to me how some properties are adapted.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see here.
Like this became a popular thing because of the gamers liked it so much. So popular enough for you to want to make it cross over. You should appease the people who brought it to your attention in the first fucking place. The only other movie I've liked so far that's been a game thing is Sonic.
Oh yeah, I still need to watch
I've
Sonic 2, but
enjoyed
Sonic 1 is pretty good. I like Jim Carrey in that. Jim
I think
Carrey's
I'm just a
fucking
big Jim Carrey fan too.
he's really hamming it up in that, shooting up some scenery, and I
He is
really like it.
channeling classic The Mask, Ace Ventura, into Dr. Robotnik.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm loving it. Down for the
This is
third.
where we see okay, so the gang gets to the Firefly base, and what's becoming a running theme is that everyone's dead.
Everyone's already dead.
Everyone's already dead.
But I think what was the part the Tess like had a conversation with Joel when she was just like, bro, just stop counting losses. Just take a win. Let's just look on the win side for once. Like, stop being like this.
Yeah, because he's like, oh, she survived the first bite, but she's been bit again. So maybe, he's already cocking his gun, like,
right. And she
let me just take her out.
And she's just like, dude, can you just see a win for a fucking
just
win
chill
for
the
once?
Fuck out.
And like the way she act, that was like my first clue to be like, she's been bitten.
Yeah. And she's like
She knows
trying
her
to
life
get
is about to come to an end. She wants a little bit of hope before she goes out. So I was like, yeah, she's talking about all this hope and telling him to have some hope. It was like, that's because she's about to die.
Yeah. And talking about, like maybe there is a way for us to redeem what we've done. Because, we can imagine that, like, within
20
this last
years
20
of them being out
being
there,
like some smugglers, being able to adapt to the outside, but also living in the QZ. They probably done some pretty fucked up things. And that's when they do the reveal. And
because we get there, Fireflies are all dead. Tess asked, remember we said, damn, she should have asked where the group was going towards the end. Tess brings that up, and she's like, there has to be a fucking map around here somewhere, right? Of where they're going. Good point.
Exactly, yeah.
But that looks nasty. Hers is way different than Elle's.
Pedro's all like, ooh, okay.
Right, he's ready to pop her. Just didn't remember. He's like, no. I was like, damn, bro, she just turned us. Damn.
And I like how all she has to say is just like, oops, whoopsie.
Oops, right.
Oopsie daisy. I got bit. But yeah, she makes a good point.
Like
come on,
we can supplies. Like all those grenades and all this other stuff there. I was like, man, if y'all don't hurry up and go through that shit and loot it right quick and add it to your inventory.
Right.
I was like, hurry up and just loot all that stuff, bro. Just press X on it.
But there's that good moment of just like press X on that shit. Yeah, seriously. Get a full bag. But yeah, that moment of like, you can clearly see that she's built different, because if I look like this
after
and she's still just like she's healing up. Yeah, I got 10 seconds before I start turning. So that like kind of gives her a reason, and then also they step on a goddamn little fungus landmine.
Well, they fight a fungus person, and then he like steps on.
Oh, right. Like he gets.
And then we get to see what they were explaining earlier about the whole, if one tells them through a system, it can alert all of them. And we hear them. And then they start making their noise. Which has to be pretty frightening, because they're, it was kind of like a dull noise now, but now she opened the door and she could you heard it.
Just yeah, that's just pretty wild. And I don't know, I just wouldn't. I'll put up a fight. I really will put up a fight in these types of situations or whatever.
Just all that stuff that was there. Like, I understand, like, gas, dump that shit. All right, grenades.
I loved how we didn't see a full swarm in focus. Yeah, that's good. I'm really glad that they, they're holding on to their cards.
But like, I would have picked up some M16s and just would have been like, and I know she's like flicking that lighter that whole time, and I was just like, But
You
there's
could
like
probably just
grenades. There's
spark
like
it.
grenades everywhere.
Exactly.
Like
Right, yeah. And
you
you
just
only need
dump
a
down a whole
spark.
bunch of
You only need
grenades.
a
You just
spark if
pick one
it's
up and just.
gasoline. You
I
don't
would have.
need the
Why would you have
yeah.
done the lighter? I would have been like, I'm getting a grenade. I'm going out holding
Hmm.
a grenade. Not
So
French
much
kissing a
gas in there.
zombie.
She probably could have
Like,
just like snapped her ashy ass fingers together and started a fire.
I didn't understand why was she making out with the zombie man. Like, who
Mhm.
was that? That was like, was that somebody we saw earlier?
I don't know what it turns out to be like her husband or something.
Yeah, that's
Or
why I
real.
was just like, what is going on?
Yeah.
She's making out with this zombie man. Zombie
This
the mushroom
this was a
man.
good little part here where we don't see the um little swarm in focus. Let's see here. I can play that little because now they're like connected. It's like, oh, been called, brother. You can see it's just like very deforming. The fungus is just
Starting to look
eating
like a
up.
little
It's just
mushroom
like
on
this,
top.
yeah, exactly. But then we kind of break that focus up, and it's just like, ooh,
Oh,
oh shit, they're coming. We're done. We have little time too, and it's not like in some shows or movies they would be like, oh, they'll be here in a minute, right? And then we see like fucking 15 minutes of like prep work and things being laid out. And it's like, no, you guys got to go right now. We're done. Conversation is over with. And Joel doesn't hesitate. He's like, yeah, I'm going to be taking you. And then we get the kiss of a lifetime, right? Well, she's trying to. Hola, they coming. Hola, they coming. But yeah, this little kiss of a lifetime. It's so gross. And Anna Torv, very good at like presenting that fear. And do you think that they like kind of like let her off easy or like didn't completely fully attack her because she was already infected? Can't hear you for some reason, Terry. Is it because of me? I don't know if I can hear you. Oh, you got you muted somehow or what? Can you hear me? I can't hear you right now. I'm not sure why.
Oh, that's because I had myself on mute like a dummy.
Oh. Okay, so repeat what you said.
Yeah, because I was saying there, you just saw one after the other all running past her until we
Mhm.
get to this one dude that kind of turns her way and like starts not even running at her. He was like just sauntering over, and it's just like, did they have a previous relationship? Is this like trying to show that they sometimes have slightly bit of humanity left in them, that they remember
Mhm.
people? Because yeah,
Yeah.
I also figured maybe she wasn't. They can tell that she's infected, so maybe it was
Mhm.
just trying to like infect her a little harder. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Oh, you can get a little bit more of this infection juice in you. Come here, darling. Come here, darling. And we're gonna show this clip here because it's cool. Let's see.
Just like look at him; he's not trying to bite her or nothing.
Yeah. But I mean, again, it's just like maybe he does have a little bit of a higher brain function or something, but it is still just naturally the cordyceps wanting to spread. So he's able to identify that, like, okay, she's infected, but something's not right. Maybe she just needs a little bit of a smooch, a little bit of a peck, little peck on the lips just to make sure that. Oh, and that is just so gross.
But like he goes
Like,
in
oh.
there, just like so. I was like, did they know each other?
They've hooked up before.
Look at her still with the damn lighter when you could have picked up a fucking grenade.
Hmm. How like anticlimactic would it be if she just like turned, died, and there's just a bunch of gasoline, but no one got blown up. There's no blow up or anything. There it is. Best Zippo commercial ever. You feel that? I like how there is other monsters or infected rushing out of the building already on their tail that we see. They get blown up. Damn. Ellie looking like a insane person still. Like I can't tell if she's actually sad or like in within
I think
spectacle.
she's sad that she couldn't like get a bird's eye view of the explosion, get a better people
Yeah.
burning and dying.
Yeah. Again, Bella Ramsey, just a resident psychopath child. Love her role in this. And yeah, they just yeah, like this part, how the episode ends is just her like kind of shrugging her shoulders, just like just like well,
Fuck.
all right,
All right, here it
let's
goes.
just do it.
Oh, here it goes.
Ah, shit. Here we go again. But yeah,
Well, here goes nothing.
that is the end of our 2 episode, premiere. Hopefully it is not too long. Next time we do this, I think me and Terry will definitely be covering the series throughout the throughout the course of it. Do you have anything you want to say?
I'm real curious about how many episodes are we gonna get. Do we know that?
It's 9 episodes.
9 episodes. Okay.
9 episodes. I know Joel and Ellie are going to be in all of them. It's really weird because they also kind of like, I don't know if this is a spoiler. If you guys feel like this is a spoiler, let me know. But it does say, they're both in 9 episodes. And Tommy, so we should be seeing him next episode. Since he's in 8, this is the only episode he's been absent from. So he must be in all of the other ones.
Yeah.
But it's also weird because Marlene's character, who like set them on this mission, is in 6 episodes. But
look,
also Anna Torv is showing as
she's in 3 more.
5 episodes. So I'm like, I don't know. Flashbacks, maybe we get a little bit more information about like how how they survived throughout the years. And then I think next week we will be getting Nick Offerman.
Yeah,
so that's actually pretty cool.
Nick Offerman, we get him as a character.
Yeah, and again, I have no idea what type of character he's playing, which very excites me.
Is Bill somebody in the game? Let us know.
Right, like if that's,
do they do a good job with Bill? I have no clue. This is exactly where my game ended at.
Right. But yeah, as far as that goes, let's see here. Do you have any closing thoughts about the first 2 episodes?
Just bravo, really.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give them just 9.0s, both
9.0s. Okay. Yeah, I mean that's been very highly rated throughout the for the first 2 episodes. Both episodes have what? Yeah, both episodes
they're
have
at
9.4.
Yeah.
9.4 each. Or this one's 9.2. That's the first episode. And 9.4 for the second episode. And I think, just a little bit boost above just because we're introduced to the clickers. And those motherfuckers did not disappoint. So, but how does Blake usually end these things? See, I'm not the best host, but that is our run of The Last of Us episode 1 and 2. Let's close it out. Terry, where can people find you?
As always, on my Instagram at terryfphotos, and of course on Pendependence CO, because we still have some of our very first pins that we've done as 9 Nerd Yards, our Atlanta series pins. Still only $35, 5 for shipping. Holler at me.
Go and check those out. I should be advertising them soon on my next video, which is going to be a pretty extended one. Hope you enjoy that. Hopefully, I can drop it sometime very soon. But yeah, I'm Nine of 9NerdYards. You can find me right here on YouTube. Hit me up on Twitter, Instagram. I shit post on TikTok sometimes. And also, I have a Patreon for $1 a month. You can come and join the conversation. Actually, on Patreon, that's where people voted for it to be a longer video that I'm dropping. So if you would like to vote on those types of polls, then yeah, go for it. But for now, I think that we are done. Anything else you want to add on to?
No, I can't wait for episode 3 next Sunday.
Absolutely. We'll be catching you on that. But for now, have a great night. Bye bye now.
Peace.